Hi, I'm Skyla Ramirez, YogaFit Training Systems Master Trainer. Welcome to our Yoga Props Master Class. We are using a rolled up yoga mat for this class. The entire session is done lying down on the floor. This class is quite adaptable as it could be done on a couch or a bed. We're using a rolled up yoga mat today. However, you could use a pillow or even a rolled up blanket if that's more comfortable. Let's get started. I have my rolled up yoga mat back here. From seated to supine, extending one leg out. Let's slowly take our time, contracting the belly, rolling down and back, bending both knees, positioning our prop under the neck and head like a pillow. Let's walk our feet out wide, allowing the knees to fold in towards each other. Bringing our hands onto the belly. Let's practice a couple minutes of mindful breathing. Breathing down into the belly, through the nose or the mouth, exhaling from the nose or the mouth. Let's practice a sinking breath with our belly breathing, making the exhale just a little longer than the inhale. Feeling the inhalations beginning as low as possible in the body, and maybe stacking the breath in the body, breathing from the belly all the way up to the heart. Exhale, relaxing the heart and the belly. Noticing if the body has a preference to keep the breath low, or if we want to practice that fuller breath from the belly up into the shoulders. Continuing to breathe easy here. Let's give our bodies an embrace, wrapping the arms over the chest. We might even use our hands to pull the shoulder blades off the floor a little, adding in just a gentle rocking of the rib cage. Switching out the arms, gentle lift, just a little rock. Let's release our hands down. We might have the palms down to protect the spine. Let's separate the knees. Feet might stay wide, moving into windshield wiper sways with our knees. Maybe only moving halfway through our range of motion first. Taking our time as we move into this twist, giving ourselves plenty of time to notice any sensations that might signal comfort or discomfort in the low back, listening to the body. We could experiment with pressing that back foot into the floor, peeling up the top hip a little more, holding it there as long as it feels right in that stretch, gently swaying over, pushing into the back foot, pressing up through that top hip. Holding it there as long as it feels right for the body. We might keep our gaze at neutral. We could look in the direction of the sway with the knees, or we could look the opposite direction. Maybe evening this up on left and right for our bodies. When it feels right for you, bringing the knees to center, let's walk the feet in, drawing our knees up in towards the chest, resetting the low back. Rolling out the ankles and wiggling the feet. Let's take the feet out to about hips width, lowering our feet down. Option to extend the legs out straight on the mat. We could always keep one or both knees bent to take some tension out of the low back. Let's turn our left toe out to the left, keeping the right foot straight up, guiding our shoulders with our neck and head support just 2 or 3 inches over to the left. So we're moving into a nice big side bend on the right side, but we only really had to scoot over 2 or 3 inches to get this large opening sensation. Let's extend the left hand down, palm can be up. Taking the right arm up, we might rest the hand on the mat. We could take the arm overhead. We might even feel like the upper arm and elbow are supported by our mat. Let's find a comfortable position for the head and the neck, knowing there is no right or wrong place for the head or neck, moving towards comfort. Once the body becomes a little more still, noticing the breath in the body, and just based on the power of suggestion, the power of awareness, as we inhale, aware of the breath in the right lung, and then exhale, aware of the breath moving out the palm of the left hand. Surya Veda. Breathing in the color gold into the right lung, and breathing out a shimmering silver blue out the palm of the left hand. Feel free to stay here if this feels right for your body. To safely transition, let's lower that top arm first and use the hands to guide the head and the neck to neutral. Let's turn our left toe up and take the right toe out to the side, inching towards the right, just 2 or 3 inches. Extending the right hand down towards the right foot. Left hand might come up to rest on the mat. We might even bring the elbow or the arm to the mat and the hand down to the floor behind us. Positioning the head and the neck for comfort. And maybe noticing the opening of the left lung here. Chandra Veda, as we inhale, breathing into the left lung. Breathing out from the right hand. Adding in those color elements, breathing in shimmery blue light and breathing out gold light. breath here into the left lung, out the palm of the right hand. Let's slowly lower the left hand. Check in with the neck and the head. When it feels right, slowly reposition to center, neutralizing the shoulders, the neck, and the head. Let's turn both toes up. We can bend the knees and add in a little sway. If our legs are straight, let's bring the knees to a deeper bend, feet on the floor, adding in that gentle sway, this time with the feet closer together. Let's take our time and notice what side the body might feel more comfortable moving towards, and roll onto one side, holding it there just for a moment. Breathing into the backs of the lungs. Let's be aware of where our supporting arm is, looking down at the floor, slowly coming up, maybe just halfway or even a third of the way. So for this next side lying lateral flexion pose, let's have the knees swayed over to the left, and with the knees to the left and the feet out to the right, we'll bring our rolled up yoga mat in close to the hip. Most of the mat is behind my body. I'm going to position the mat so that when I lie down, it's above the hip and it's supported at the waistline. Let's take our time to slowly lie down on our sides. We might use our top arm like a pillow. If it's more comfortable, lengthen the arm out, or even take it a little bit in front of the body so we could flatten that left shoulder blade and have a little bit more openness in the chest. Allowing the body to find comfort through the shoulders, the head, and the neck. When it feels right for you, let's extend the top arm up and overhead, and maybe just add in some sweeping motions with the hand. Our side lying lateral flexion with our flying arms. Matching movement to breath. Inhaling as the arm lifts up and reaches over. Exhale as we relax the hand. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Exaggerating the stretch under the armpit at the top of the breath. Maybe just one more. We could always vary this movement a little bit, taking it out with a bent arm, shortening the lever length, making a few circles, or taking the arm out, reaching through the fingertips, circling in any direction. Let's extend that top arm overhead. I'm resting the arm on top of my ear. Option to lengthen out the legs, taking the top foot in front of the bottom foot. And we're keeping the feet very close together, really close. If we notice any discomfort in the low back or around the hip, you can bend one or both knees in any combination for comfort. From wherever we are, let's slide that bottom arm out away from us a little more, moving into a gentle twist with the upper body. It's okay if both shoulders are not touching the floor. It's really common in this twist to have the right shoulder just a little light away from the floor. If we're noticing any discomfort in that right arm, we could always keep the hand by the belly, and we have that excess yoga mat behind us to prop up the right elbow. Let's hold it here in this twist for a few subtle breaths, noticing where is the path of least resistance for the breath. It could be an expanding breath in the upper right lung. We could always hold it here a little longer. We don't have to do both sides. Maybe this just feels nice to open the liver. If we're thinking of coming out of the pose, let's take that right arm, no matter where we are, bring it onto the waist and the belly, bending both our legs, maybe even stacking the knees. Rolling over to that original side lying position, propping up the neck and the head. Breathing into the side of the right lung. Again, staying here as long as it feels right for us. To safely transition, let's look down at the floor, hang the head nice and loose, using our elbows to prop us. Maybe we just come up about 1/3 of the way, staying as low to the floor as possible, keeping the energy really grounded. To safely transition, we may want to just turn our backs away from the prop and sway the knees over to the other side for side lying. Taking our yoga mat, pushing most of it behind us, having it at the waist, and then moving into that side lying position. Again, we might use our arm as a pillow. We might flatten, so we're already just partially rotating through the ribs. Sometimes this flattening of that right shoulder blade is more comfortable for the shoulders in general. We can keep the knees bent and slowly sweep that left arm overhead and then down again. Inhaling at the top of the breath, exaggerating the stretch under the armpit, and then exhale, lower it down. Holding the arm overhead at any point if it feels comfortable, focusing on breathing against the side rib. We can keep the knees bent or straighten out the legs, taking the top leg in front of the bottom leg, keeping the feet really close, feeling that top hip dropping away from the ribs. Holding it here or slowly bending that top arm and maybe even using our elbows to lift the right shoulder and drop the left shoulder down a little bit more. We might flatten the shoulder blades, but again, there might be a little space under the left shoulder. Elbows might stay bent, cactus arms, sleeping cactus pose. If we're noticing any sensations of tension or stress. Maybe breathe through it, just a breath or two. And if the body is still wanting a little more relief in the shoulder, take that left hand onto the waist and rest the elbow onto the mat that's just there behind you. Let's exaggerate the expanding breath in the upper left lung. Maybe another breath or two here to safely transition. If we have both our arms up, let's lower the left hand to the waist, bending the knees, rolling onto our right side, holding it here for a couple breaths. Breathe down into the low back. Maybe through the middle back and the shoulders. When it feels right for you, look down to the floor. Let's rise up about halfway. Supporting the trunk of the body with our elbows and forearms. From where we are, we might come around into all fours. Again, staying low to the floor so the energy stays really grounded. We could always press the hips back towards the heels, using our mat in front of us, placing the hands on top of the mat, working with just a little more shoulder flexion, a little more stretch in the side ribs and chest area, relaxing the head and the neck. Staying in child's pose for just 3 to 5 more breaths. Let's practice 3-part breath here. Breathing to the low back, to the sides of the ribs and waist, and then under the shoulder blades. Exhale, relax the shoulder blades, then the side ribs, then the low back. Just another breath or two here. You can hold it here a little longer, or maybe walk the hands in and bring the yoga mat in with you. Now, if the mat is really thick, I'll recommend that you unroll it just a little bit. So maybe we just have about an inch or so of thickness that we're working with. Moving into an active belly press. Let's draw the mat in on top of the thighs. If there's any discomfort on the knees right now, we could always move into something more like seated stack. So let your body decide for you what kind of foundation is going to create the most comfort. No matter where we are with this, the mat is on top of the thighs. We're going to pull up through the ribs and the belly. You could even pull in and up, kind of like Uddiyana Bandha, chin down, Mula Bandha. Pulling the ribs and the belly up, draping the ribs, the intestines, and the belly over that mat. Placing the hands down on the floor, just a gentle belly press, gentle belly compression. If this feels intense or even invasive to the body, walk the hands in and just relieve some of that pressure out of the abdomen. Let's relax the neck and the chin. We could try breathing into the belly, feeling for that active pressure, that active resistance against the abdomen. Let's try maybe one more long exhale here. When you're ready, slowly walk the hands in and up. Let's refold our mat. Placing the mat in front of us, I'm measuring out about the length of my foot away from my knee. When I lie down, I'm positioning the mat so that it's supporting from the tops of the thighs up to my belly button. From here, shifting forward, lowering down from the tops of the thighs to the belly. We could have the head at center. We could turn the head to the left or the right. Let's take the feet out maybe as wide as the mat and turn the toes out with this. The mat is encouraging a little bit of a hip hinge here. If the mat wasn't there, the weight of our body on the floor could forcibly or prematurely open the front of the hip. It could even maybe irritate the psoas and the low back. So if you wanted a larger lift, you could even roll the yoga mat up a little tighter and you'd get a bigger lift in the hips when you do this. Now there's active pressure into the abdomen here. Let's try using the belly to breathe. And as we inhale, notice how the backs of the lungs also expand to lift the spine. Trying 3-part breath here, breathing down to the belly, through the ribs to the heart. And then exhale, relax the heart, the ribs, and the belly. Noticing that wave-like motion rolling along the spine itself. And at some point, maybe the abdominal muscles tire themselves out with this breath. And we just allow the breath to roll through the backs of the lungs in that 3-part breath motion. To the low back, to the middle back, the shoulder blades. Softening from the top down. Stay here a little longer. We only have maybe 3 or 4 more poses in this restorative class. If we're curious about experimenting with another pose, let's bring our head and neck to neutral. Let's bring our feet to neutral, tucking the toes under. Drawing our elbows in to prop up the upper body. Maybe pausing for an easy back bend. Pressing into the thighs and tops of our knees. Let's lift the hips away, resetting the low back, pressing the tailbone back. Pressing back into child's pose, finding the breath. From here, we can look to our mat And maybe, just for today, maybe turning that mat so that we'll be able to use it for complete spine support as we move into an expression of a restorative butterfly. So to safely come over, let's guide the hip down and then sweep the knees away from the prop. Let's draw our mat in just by the low back so the hips stay grounded on the floor. As we begin to lie back, feeling as if we do have the mat to support the head and the neck. If we're noticing the mat is not long enough, maybe shift your shoulders down, flatten through the sacrum a little more. We could even have that mat beginning behind the belly button, giving us a little more space to support the neck and the head. From here, let's touch our toes together, opening up the knees, moving into our restorative butterfly expression. We can do anything at all with the arms here, maybe out or even overhead. We could even do one leg at a time. So this is kind of like moderating some of the energetic fluctuations in the pelvis. We could do one knee up and one hip open. So we're just easing into the opening of Muladhara. If you're choosing one leg at a time, breathe easy. I'm going to monitor the time here and I will cue an opportunity to switch legs. We're staying here maybe about 10 more cycles of breath. Slowly switching legs if we're alternating one knee open at a time. Other alternatives to try. If you're doing one knee at a time, whatever thigh is open, hook that ankle behind your foot and relax that. Continuing to breathe easy, no matter where the legs are. Notice the breath. As long as we're breathing, we're doing yoga. And just a reminder, if this feels really rewarding to the body, stay here, I promise. There are no poses that you'll miss out on. Just continue to do what feels right for your body, breathing, feeling, listening to the body. To safely transition, if the body wants to transition, let's bring both knees up. Slowly roll to one side, lowering the arms. Come up just a little bit. Let's turn our mat perpendicular or line it up with the short edge of the mat. Lying back again. This time we're bringing the mat behind the belly button and under the shoulder blades for a restorative fish or even a restorative back bend here. We have thoracic extension and expansion with the mat. You can do anything at all with your legs here. Some people Notice they love the butterfly expression here, and trying the butterfly expression again, noticing any sensations that might have shifted or changed as we do something a little different with the thoracic spine. As an alternative, we could even do tree pose here. One leg straight, one leg bent. Breathe easy here, about 5 more breaths, and I'll cue that opportunity to switch from left to right on the legs. Continuing to breathe easy, maybe switching out the position of our legs in any way. We can change our mind at any time. Shanti Om. Peace and order, order and peace. Let's slowly reposition the knees and the feet into a constructive rest pose, feet flat, both knees bent, pushing into our feet, peeling up the hips. We can slide the mat down underneath the sacrum, away from the low back. And maybe relax here, restorative bridge. We can add in that little sway again. Pushing into a single foot to open one hip at a time. Be still whenever the body wants stillness. Move whenever it wants to move. Let's come to center, placing hands down on the mat. We may want to lift one knee at a time, roll out the ankles, and maybe lift the legs a little higher. Gentle elevation of the hips with legs up the wall. Let's relax the feet, and maybe as final relaxation, maybe we use the mat again under the head and neck, or maybe we creatively push that mat down and use it behind the knees for final relaxation. Allowing the feet to relax out to the sides, thighs rotating out. Softening the trunk of the body and the shoulders. We could place hands on the belly again, or even down to the floor beside us. Let's give ourselves at least a minute to shuffle the body a little and find what feels comfortable. If we know that we really would rather lie on our bellies, go ahead and transition there. It's very common for people to find that prone position with the mat under the pelvis as a preferred alternative to final traditional relaxation. So again, if you would rather lie down here, you're welcome to do so. Just let your body get comfortable. There's absolutely no rush with this. Let's take maybe just 2 or 3 minutes again, breathing easy, noticing the breath. No rush. Where is the breath going? All on its own, without any guidance from us. Rather, just noticing what part of the body opens to receive the breath. And wherever the breath moves to effortlessly, feeling the breath expanding from that place or from those places. So there's this effortless expansion of the life force moving through the body. We might notice some places the breath moves around. Just observing. Let's bring a little more subtle awareness to the body by creating a breath with just a little more effort. So breathing in and then exhale from the throat. A sigh of relief, allowing those sighs of relief to take out of the body any residual tension or stress that might be hiding. Any energy, neither good or bad, just energy that's not useful right now, letting it go with the breath. Parigraha, letting it go. One more. When you're ready, depending on where you are, please take your time to eventually make your way up into easy seated. Moving nice and slow, slowly coming to seated. In closing our practice, we meet with the hands at the heart. Let's draw in a deep unifying breath together. Exhaling together with a bow. Namaste, everyone. Thank you for joining in this yoga props mat restorative practice. I wish you well. Again, my name is Skylar Ramirez, Yoga Fit trainer. Have a lovely day. Namaste.